Hey there. So I found a new spot. Over 50 days ago, I started a YouTube channel with the intent of posting every day. I've given myself grace because I've skipped some days in between, but the idea and the intent is to post 100 stories. I thought I was just starting a YouTube channel. I had no idea of what I was going to share. Well, correction, I had an idea of what I wanted to share. I know I wanted to talk about this mindset shift that I've been on for the last few years. What I'm realizing is that it goes beyond starting a channel and sharing content. Every time I press record, I'm sharing a story. And I realize that in the process, I'm finding my voice. I'm finding me. And in the process of finding me, I'm realizing how much time has passed since I didn't know who Jessie is, or who Jessie was, or even who Jessie wants to become. It's scary to be in this space of uncertainty when you know that for so long you've been living up to other people's expectations, maybe even your own expectations as well. And you get to this point where you literally want to throw everything out the window, everything in the trash, dump everything into the fire and start over. And it's scary to think about starting over, no matter what age. I'll be 53 in September. Starting over means letting go of the personalities that you've held on to for so long. It means letting go of relationships that may have held you back. It means letting go of beliefs that may have made you feel that you are not worthy. And that's a scary thing, because sometimes it also means stepping out into a space of discomfort. Nobody likes to be uncomfortable. And yet we need to find ways to embrace the uncomfortable messiness that comes with starting over. And that can be a scary and beautiful thing at the same time. It's crazy because I feel like for the longest time I've always been that person to help people figure out their own stories and to come up with a plan and strategy and work with individuals and institutions to implement that plan and strategy, which has always been very successful. And now when it comes to me to think about implementing that plan and strategy for myself, I'm on the fence. Not because I don't want change. Who doesn't want change? Change is uncomfortable. I mentioned this before. It comes from a place of understanding that as I step into and start to figure out who I want to become and what I want to do, there's a sense of grief in knowing that had I started earlier, things would be a lot different. So that is a belief that I have to let go of. I didn't have the means, the resources, the mindset, the environment, the desire in some way to really start then. I do now. And that is what matters, starting now. Not tomorrow, not the next day, starting now. And that's where it counts. So if you've ever been on the fence about finding a way to share your story, if you've ever been on the fence about wanting to start over and thinking that it's too late, don't. Because today is the best day for you to start. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just an opportunity for you to start. In some way, when I think about how I keep showing up here on these spaces in social media, sharing what's on my mind, what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing, what I'm feeling, I realize now that I was always meant to be a storyteller. My grandfather knew this before I did. I think I was in college when it was either the end of my high school year or the summer of my first year of college. We took a trip to Nigeria. We usually went pretty much every year when I was younger, and then almost every other year as we got older. And I remember on one of the trips, my grandfather, we would always gather at night, and in the compound, my grandfather would tell all these different stories. And we were surrounded by the warmth of the Nigerian night, a slight breeze that would pass through, the glow of the fire in the center of the compound. My grandmother was always standing in the distance in a doorway. And as my grandfather would tell stories, she would dance and she would sing. And one of the things my grandfather told me that night, it's still etched in my brain. I remember he asked me this question: what will you tell them? In this deep, gruff voice. Hey, what will you tell them? What will you tell them about Nigeria? Nigeria is a beautiful country. Nigerian people are beautiful. And you are a storyteller. You will always tell stories. My grandfather knew then what I didn't know now. That sometimes when you have different seasons, and seasons that will change, unexpectedly or expectedly, within your control, without your control, be open and ready to receive what's next, especially when it's meant for you. Sometimes we want to be resistant to accept what's next, when all we simply have to do is surrender and say yes. I started a YouTube channel over 50 years ago to share stories, 100 stories to be exact. And somewhere along the way, I'm finding my voice. And I'm finding you too. And that is a beautiful experience. And if you haven't had a chance, find a place to be outdoors. Disappear for a little while in nature. Nature is healing. And somewhere along the way, play your favorite song and dance in this open space like nobody's watching. Because your heart and mind will thank you for it. So on that note, I'm going to continue with my walk, and I will catch you later.